Welcome to a tribute to Keith Harris, one of the most successful ventriloquists in the history of Great Britain. Although Keith Harris was more than a ventriloquist, he was a chart topper, a TV star, a producer, an ideas man, a great pantomime performer and director, and a mentor, an idol and a master of his craft. That's right. Born in Lyndhurst in Hampshire, Harris was introduced to a show business at a young age when his father Norman incorporated him into his stage show, performing in working men's clubs around the UK. As a teenager, he created his own ventriloquism characters, which he performed at holiday resorts and summer seasons, attracting the attention of television producers. By the age of 14, Keith had turned professional, becoming a solo act after Norman retired. Keith performed in Blackpool as early as 1961 on Central Pier, the ABC in 1974 in Grayson's Scandal and Charity Midnight Matinee. Keith Harris had his first solo TV series, Cuddles and Company, in the 1970s, but in the 1980s, Keith starred in his own Saturday night TV show and summer season in 1988. TV shows with special guests and brilliant sketches with Orville, Cuddles, Pongo the Skunk, and Vinny the Vulture. Hello there, Noddy. I used to work on Keith's show, I did. Did you? Yeah. And he was great fun. I remember working with a monkey, a skunk called Pongo, and a duck called Orville. It was like a day out at Blackpool Zoo. Keith was appearing in a variety show at Scarborough Opera House with Bobby Crush in 1982. And when Keith asked if Bobby would write him a song, this saw Keith's BBC Top of the Pops appearance of Christmas 1982 reach number 4 in the charts and saw sales of 400,000 singles. Bobby Crush, who penned the song I Wish I Could Fly with Keith, said it paid off his mortgage. Keith released an album entitled At the End of the Rainbow in 1983, which charted at 92. He then released singles Come to My Party, which got to 44, and White Christmas in 1985, which hit number 40. It secured him as a household name, and the following summer of 1983, he broke box office records at Blackpool's Grand Theatre for a 5-month stint there, selling the most amount of tickets ever sold at the theatre. The decline in variety put a stop to so many variety acts and TV shows, but Keith, who was loved by children and adults alike, knew he had to reinvent himself, and that's when the Duck Off show took off. When approaching universities to perform, Keith was turned down because they were only looking for tribute shows at that time. So Keith told them he was a tribute to Keith and Orville and was booked immediately. After storming the first few shows and the bookers realizing it was really Keith, the show took off and he went on to perform the show nationwide to adult audiences where Orville and Cuddles were introduced to a brand new generation. I worked with Keith when I was 17 years old on my first TV show in 1993. It was called The Pig Attraction. When I recorded my set, he stood behind the cameras and he watched. When it was over, he gave me advice and ideas. I never forgot that. When I was 20, we met in Blackpool. I was working at the Blackpool Tower and Keith was out and about. We met up and he gave me Pongo the Skunk. And from that moment on, we stayed in touch. He said, "Keep it up, son." On my 40th birthday, I opened Keith's birthday card. It was the last one I read that day. And it read, "To Steve, you're like a son to me. I'm glad I've been in your life. Love, Keith." So we had that bond from an early age. Keith was an icon to me and then a friend. To the great British public, the name Keith Harris will always bring a smile to people's faces. That would have been enjoyed for 3 or 4 generations of families because of his 100% passion, work and talent. Eyes and teeth.